heartfelt welcome to our wonderful audience. I'm Sonia Pauja here on behalf of Indian Professional Forum, and I'm honored to serve as your host and a moderator for today, alongside with my co-host and fellow moderator, Mr. Rohit Suresh. After the tremendous success of a recent outstanding events such as Driving Business in 2023 and my personal favorite, the most recent one is that management lessons from our real life heroes. And considering the IPF is delighted to present another, considering this thing, fantastic response from our audience, the IPF is delighted to present another enlightening and knowledge sharing webinar that how to choose the right investment designed specially for NRIs in Nigeria. This webinar is organized in collaboration with Client First Capital Limited, a company regulated by FSC Mauritius. Before we start with the proceedings, I would like to thank you for taking out the time and extend heartfelt welcome on behalf of Indian Professional Forum. That is our esteemed guest speaker, that is Mr. Bhuvan Gupta, the founder and the CEO of Client First Capital Limited, and our extinguished member of IPF and our esteemed audience. Let me put some insight, light on our today's topic. When it comes to investment, most people don't know where to start, and it's well said that an investment is knowledge pays the best interest. Since we all saves money, so as we know that how crucial it is to save money, but simultaneously we should not forget it is only one part of the story. So saving money in smart way by building sufficient emerging savings within saving account or through investment in money market account. So investment is an effective way to put your money to work and potentially build wealth. Smart investing may allow your money to outpace inflation and increase in value. So there is the well said as we are the global market investors, we all have certain questions in our mind that have the market fully recovered considering the past, considering our history of this Indian markets. Are growth opportunities still available? Will the market crash again? So in addition, as an NRI investor within Indian currency devaluating by 15% over past 5 years and having future US dollar expenses, some questions again arise. Should we invest in USD and how much, or keep investing in our own home terrain? Another is, what are the investment opportunities, tools and platforms available for global market investment? So leaving few questions and thoughts, there is one disclaimer from our side is that all the members in the audience may please note that IPF has organized this session only for education and knowledge for enhancement purpose. IPF and guest speaker do not have any responsibility whosoever for the investment decision made by the members. You are advised to derive your respective investment decision after your own due diligence and research. So I would love to leave the floor open for the expert of the topic, that is Mr. Bhuvan. Before handing over to our guest, I would like to inform that you can post your questions for our esteemed experts at the question answer window, which will be taken up during the end of the session. Over to you, Mr. Bhuvan.
Bhuvan, you are mute.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. First of all, Sonia ji, thank you for being a wonderful host. I thank IPF, Indian Professional Forum, Nigeria. I especially thank Dinesh ji, Mahesh ji, Siddharth for putting effort to get we also as an opportunity to help the audience to understand the right investment product. Now, before I go on, I would like to introduce myself. I have been a banker in Dubai for roughly 8 years before starting my company called Client First. So today we are the Client First group. Total presence in Dubai is 16 years. We manage $35 million with a CAGR of 17%. CAGR means 17% compound annual growth rate. We also have $100 million plus in the asset under advisory and distribution under the Indian PMS products. I have been myself an external asset manager, private banker, and whatnot. And the reason why I've come all the way to help you all out, if at all you think that makes sense. A lot of people come and sell us the product. They tell us that they are the expert, and we just put in some money with them, thinking that they will help us with making money. We strongly think otherwise. We think that money making is very simple. Human intelligence have actually made it very complex, and we want to demystify the whole investing business. We want people to understand that in life and investing, simple beats complex. Why are we doing education session? To be very frank with you, we are no one if you ask us in the whole uh, horizon of investing. Warren Buffett is the one guru I go down to. My humble request to all the participants that whatever you can get on in terms of reading material on Warren Buffett, please read. Every year in May, Warren Buffett has Berkshire Hathaway event. Please attend the event. We want to promote that event because it is a Makkah, it's a Hajj, it's a Tirth of the investing forum where 10,000 plus people come. This man who is 92 and his partner, his vice partner, Charlie Munger, who is 99, they are imparting the investing wisdom. There are definitely many people in India also. I'm unfortunately there are very few or let's say no people in Dubai who are doing it. So we found a gap in Dubai. We found a gap in Mauritius where we're not finding people to educate the investors. The one reason also why Dubai is whatever the place is because this is the place where you get 3-year visas. Now they are promoting 10-year visas, but they're still not giving citizenship. So with all due respect to the nation, people are in a hurry to make money, and I don't think so it is so easy to make money in so much hurry. Even people, my friends who are in Nigeria, they give years before they start getting the fruit. So look at Tolaram group, look at Choitram, look at all these groups which have been there for last 30-40 years. They have taken huge time to make wealth. So I think if business and investing are done alike. So Ben Graham, who is the mentor of Warren Buffett, he said, if investing is done business like, it's intelligent investing. So today we stand in front of you to tell you that we have seen all the journey of complex products, beats forex, structure notes. You talk about the bonds, the leverage bonds, the stock market trading, the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, the startup investing. I'm also on the board of a company called Origo Finance. I'm also into a lot of startup investments, but I don't really promote those things very actively because I believe that it is not for the retail investors. So today I stand here for my community from your side because the company name is Client First, and I would like you to understand that how we can make money at the same time understanding the risk. The risk and return do not are not separate entity, they go together. So now what we are going to cover today, we are going to cover bonds. We are, and it's a favorite topic of investors, I'm sure, because anyways I think all of us are reading the news today that bonds are the right time to invest in the bonds or something like that. One second, also I think the reason I want to talk about bond because you sitting in Nigeria actually have access to good money because Nigeria is a place of high risk and making high return. But what are you looking at is to safeguard the extra money which you put in aside. Having said that, I have zero exposure in the bonds. I repeat, as Sonia said, we don't intend to sell anything in this investment apart from selling our ideology to you in terms of investing because we want to make this investing very, very simple for you. So now let me start with some of my accolades. I have got various awards from the bank. I'm also a computer engineer. I do not believe I am a salesman, though I love selling. But I think my job is to help people to buy because I think the best is when you take a decision, an informed decision as an investor. So that's what I do. I play badminton regularly. This is helping me to be young. I have been a karate practitioner. Why I kept it in the slide because karate helps me to understand the discipline. So I think the most important thing which Warren Buffett said, and he still wakes up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't have to do it for money. He's a billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire. So all I'm saying is that discipline is must, and that's why I've kept this karate. And I've been practicing karate, but now since a few months I'm not able to do it. But I think the most important thing I'm trying to tell here is that discipline is the most important. Now, I did not learn this in the school. I did not learn this in the college. I learned it through books. So one more thing I am promoting here today in the session that please get on to readings, read investing books, read the philosophy of the greatest people, because I think if we want to become a good guy, we have to be with the good people. And these billionaires are telling us this on a, what do you call, every day. If you hear them out on the YouTube or you read about them, you'll come to know. So this is a little bit about us. Our goal is to compound investor wealth with minimum risk. Now, risk is also I will cover. So one very important topic is risk. This the right side is talking about our performance from the day one. Now, why are we in the business? We are in the business that if you take a wrong decision because of some of our broker's friend, and then the whole industry feel the pain, and that broker might leave the industry, but we have to be in the industry. So we have a lot of investors who have lost money and have come to us, who have gone through the pain of not making returns, and then they have come to us. We take the responsibility as partnership, and we have helped them out. So the traits of the incumbent is mis-selling, charging you a lot, complex products, commission-driven business. The whole industry is commission-driven. Incentives are not aligned with the investor. That's a very, very important point. And heavy regulatory costs passed on to the investors. And that is what I think is happening. And we would like to change the whole game by making you aware of all the charges in any investing product. And we also want to talk about the real returns here, because I think a lot of people are happy with 6% dollar return. But let us tell you, 6% dollar return is actually making your money zero. Now, why did I say so? Think about a very simple scenario that 20 years ago, our children, so 20 years ago, our education fee was roughly 1 rupee to 1,000 rupees. I'm talking about the rupee terms. In dollar terms, it could be, let's say, $10 a month. Today, I pay for my children $17,000 to $18,000 fees for a normal school in Dubai. So all I'm trying to tell you is that the inflation has eaten away a lot of our money. But Indians are still busy in buying gold. They're still busy in buying bonds to make 6 to 7% dollar return. My request to all of you, see, if you would like to make 6 to 7%, please go ahead and do it. I am not coming against you, but I'm just trying to tell you, please understand that 6% notional return on dollar is actually losing money. So this is what I wanted to tell you. Now, let's talk about do's and don'ts of investments in our opinion, and all opinion are mine. And please, if you have anything, we can personally meet and discuss, and we can tell you our ideology. So guaranteed products are is a fad. We will do anything if somebody will come and give us guaranteed product. You will not believe, in this region, there are people who are offering checks. There are customers who are asking for checks, and there are people who are also offering bank guarantee. Now, I think, and a very simple answer, please do not invest into such products. One, from the safety perspective. Now, the second guarantee products are basically bond and fixed deposit. So as I discussed, if you would like to keep some money in savings and just make the inflation return, please go ahead and do fixed deposit. At today, I think bank rates are very good, 4 to 6%, or the 10-year treasury is also giving 6 to 7%. Go ahead and invest in those products. If you are happy to save that money, you will not make the money because inflation will eat away. But for the safety perspective, you can go ahead and invest. Now let's talk about the hidden cost. So, example, a lot of people in Nigeria, I'm sure, must be exposed to a lot of suitcase banker. I have, by the way, one more thing I want to tell you. I have clients in Nigeria. I have clients in the Africa and UK. Excuse me. I have never traveled to Nigeria. I have never traveled to UK. Many of these customers have come through other customers. But what I'm trying to tell you, that suitcase bankers are very famous in the African region because they do not have any place to park their money safely. In a country like Nigeria and all, the opportunities are huge, but at the same time, the risk of devaluation is also high. And the one question has also come on devaluation, and I will deal with it shortly. So let's say, for example, you get into an arbitrage fund. Many of you would have been offered the arbitrage fund, and they would have talked about every month they will give you some return, because arbitrage means it is risk-free eventually. Now, I'll ask you a very simple question, and this why I'm able to talk about this product, because some of you have approached us and discuss this product with us. And the total return in the product I saw was 6 to 8% dollar return. And they are giving you monthly NAV, they manage $75 million, etc. But there are a lot of hidden costs I saw. They have charges upfront, they have charges every month. All this inclusive, you might make 6%, 7%. Now, my question to you that you wanted to get guaranteed product because you want to safeguard this money. Now, the major problem happens when people come and give you 2 to 3% extra and they try to tell you that this product are guaranteed. And one more word come into this category is called structure notes. Structure notes are, let me give a history of structure notes. And please, on the chat window, I want you to please say at least that, yes, you are aware of structure notes and you have been doing it, or you have had the problems in the structure note, because I think this is a very common product in the Fed. I have my own YouTube video where I have told people that why I will never do structure notes. And I'm going to explain today as well in my Excel sheet to make you understand. And I'm sure some of you would have already understood, but it's a very important thing to tell you. So what happened in the some 10 years ago in Switzerland? One more thing, let's understand. The everything being dumped to us from Switzerland actually. Now, what is Switzerland? Switzerland is nothing but, if you have gone to India and if you've seen cooperative banks, Switzerland used to have cooperative banks. When this World War I, World War II were happening, Switzerland was actually a place like where, you know, people can actually bring in a lot of money. And I'm thinking all of us know that how many Indians have their money, but it is legitimate or not illegitimate. All these questions have been being asked for years and decades. So Switzerland used to even take cash. We have seen Wolf of Wall Street. So American people, American investors, American businessmen used to hide their money into Switzerland. And then what happened? First, America woke up and they came out with the laws and the AML compliance. And then these people went to China. And then from China, a lot of money would have come to Switzerland. And then China also restricted. Then they went to India. And then a lot of money from India have also come to Switzerland. All I'm talking about the illegitimate money, one part of the business. And then what happened? India also understood. And then they come with something called CRS. So if you remember, FATCA came roughly 10 to 11 years ago, and we all have to sign FATCA form when we are signing with the bank. So FATCA means, and then, you know, the US was very much coming hard to all these US citizens and US residents. So today it is very difficult to hide the money from the US. Then Narendra Modi went to Switzerland and they passed something called CRS, Common Reporting Standards. And now we also signed CRS saying that, yeah, we basically agree that we are not having any illegitimate money, etc. Once the CRS comes in, today, if you open an account in Switzerland and you are not a resident of, let's say, you are not a non-resident or something, automatically your details have to be shared with the Indian government. So what happened? Switzerland used to use being a place to park money. All these companies, I'll not name it, but there are private banks which I'm sure you know, and they are generally like for example, JP Morgan, it's a US bank. Similarly, you have a lot of these banks in the Switzerland which are in the name of the person, name of the family. For example, let's say Hewlett Packard, HP's Hewlett Packard. Similarly, these companies are nothing but name of first person and the second and the surname. Now these are all roughly 120, 130 years old. Now, when you go to these private banks, they are actually highlighting we are 125 years old, we are 190 years old, etc. All this cooperative bank, they become so-called private bank. You can go and check the history. And our cooperative bank in India, they couldn't flourish. They were still doing the same money laundering problem and all. And finally, they lost their license. Some of the people who were good enough, they moved forward and got the license. But a lot of these Switzerland banks are selling us the product which are conducive to them. In one line, I want to define these banks as corporate banks. They are not, sorry, they are not private banks, they are corporate banks because they are only promoting you lending. So if you remember 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago when the interest rates were lower, any banker who will come to you, he will sell you bond with leverage. He will sell you structure note with leverage. And when he says so, he tells you how beautifully you will make money by buying the guaranteed investment. But now understand, this banker is offering you, and I'm not against anybody, I'm talking about in general. So a banker is giving you a bond at 0.25% to 0.5%. You are taking a leverage from the bank bank is charging you 1% extra on the LIBOR or SOFR rate, and then again 0.25, assuming you are doing 1:1 leverage. So 0.25 plus 0.25 plus 1%, which banker is charging you higher on the the LIBOR rate. So 1.5% the banker makes day one on your money plus the custody. Now custody is again 0.25 on your money, 0.25 on the bank's money. So 2% you are giving, assuming you will keep the bond for a year. Now if the capital appreciation happens, you will make money. If it doesn't happen, you will not make money. Now what happens when the interest rates are going down? The bond keep appreciating like stocks, and you and all of us have made money. But what happened in this 10-year horizon? Once this time comes like 2020, like 2022 or 3, and what happened in this scenario? The interest rate goes up or the bond price comes down like anything, and then what happens? You get a margin call and you end up selling these products. So you don't make the money. This I'm talking about the bond with leverage. So please understand what I'm trying to promote here. When you buy a bond, you are trying to buy a safety. Even if you get 4 or 5%, please don't run for 8%, 7%. It is not going to make a huge impact on your returns. So don't leverage. First thing. Second thing is don't go for extra 1 to 5%. Same thing people did in Yes Bank. They did in Yes Bank a leverage deposit. Yes Bank went through a crisis. You could not take out your money because you were stuck with 5-year horizon. The only problem here is RBI safeguarded the investors, but people lost their overnight sleep. When you are looking for a guaranteed product, you want to have very good sleep. So what I promote here is, if you're getting 4, 5, 6, please do not run for 7, 8, 9% and reduce the quality of your deposits or the bond. You should always make sure you go ahead without leverage. You buy the bond with the intention that you will hold it at maturity. Another problem happened. People bought this bond of low interest, Power Finance Corporation, maybe Tata Motors, you would have bought at 4% yield. Today, those bonds have gone down because the interest rate in the US Treasury itself has gone up, and they might go up 0.5% more from here, and they might stay there for a year or two. And today, we are earning for the bank actually, because our leverage cost is 6%, and we are earning only 3% coupon. And I have these lot of people like in Dubai. Now think about it, how will I feel for my investors? And that is the reason I would like you to educate in this, that when you go for a 4 to 5% bond kind of return, don't try to enhance your return by leveraging. Warren Buffett said, leverage doesn't add any value to your investment. It only magnifies both the sides. So when the times are good, you might make money, and because of that, you will end up doing a mistake, and you will also magnify your losses. Now, why do I say so? Because I can tell you one thing from my experience. Today, markets have gone down. Hardly 5% of our investors are ready to put in more money. 95% people think it is my problem, not their problem. It is not the case they don't have the money, but for them, the equity investment is a time pass. So what happens eventually when the leverage thing will go wrong, investor like you will not put in more money, and you will end up losing the money because you will sell it off. I know people who are auditors, I know people who are chartered accountant losing full money in the investment in 2020 because they did not understand the risk embedded in the bond plus leverage structure. So that's how I cover the first part. The second part on the structure notes. Now, what is structure notes? Let's understand for a moment. First category of risk is equity. Equity is a very basic vanilla product. After the equity, we go ahead and come to, after the bond, equity comes. The bond has a lower risk perceivably because it has so-called capital guarantee at maturity. Then comes the stocks. From the stocks, we have this mutual fund, which has been made more secure. Then is from a stock comes the PMS. But in terms of exchange rate product, only stock is there. Not even mutual fund, not even bond. Stocks have made ETF. And then from, if I go forward, higher return and higher risk is futures and options. And when I go further high, I find something called a complex product complex option called structured notes. It is so complex that even our, just a fun for you, our analyst couldn't even write the spelling properly. So sorry for the mistake. So structured notes is something which is a hazard which Switzerland has offloaded to us, and now why have they done so? So I'm sure people who have been in the bank, in the wealth management as a client for the last 10, 15 years, they would have noticed you used to be banking with HDFC Bank or a local bank. And then your banker got a promotion, and one fine day he comes and tells you, sir, you know what, I have become a private banker. So, you know, he's very happy and sir, now I can give you better products. I have access to good products. Now, eventually he comes and offer you a bond at 0.25%. So how the investing journey starts? In Rag Bank, we used to offer bond at 2% upfront. I used to charge people 2% on their money and 2% on the leverage money. So I used to, as a bank, not as a me, bank, we used to make 5-4% upfront on the day one on the bond. Those days were great. Interest rates were coming down after the 2008 crisis. Bonds are also rallying. I was doing my business with 2 or 3 investors because even I was not aware what will happen when the tide will turn. One fine day, this so-called banker, he gets promoted to private banker because he's looking for higher salary, higher career. Private banking is such a so-called great profession that all of us want our children to become private banker. Because private banker is like, you know, those movies we have seen that private bankers make a lot of money. You remember Tech Mahindra ka ek ad aaya karta tha, and Tech Mahindra the private banker is flying the business class, and then finally the Tech Mahindra guys come as an engineer, and he used to come in a aeroplane. Tech Mahindra or I think Mahindra & Mahindra was offering him aeroplane. So private banker एक बहुत reputation है, हम सब जानते हैं. I think people who are banker in this, they understand private banking is बहुत अच्छा reputation. But problem private banking में नहीं है. Problem the way they structured. They are very rich people who the private banks. उनको हमारी पड़ी ही नहीं है. तो वो क्या कर रहे हैं, आपको वो प्रोडक्ट दे रहे हैं जहाँ पे उनका फायदा हो रहा है. अब क्या होता है, आपको बोला जाता है हम वी हैव कम टू द न्यू बैंक एंड नाउ वी विल ऑफर यू लो कॉस्ट प्रोडक्ट. अब आपको बॉन्ड मिल रहा है कितने पे, 0.25 पे, 0.5 पे. तो आप बड़े खुश, वेरी हैप्पी हो, आई एम गेटिंग द बॉन्ड एट लोअर प्राइस. बट सर, मेरी सैलरी $10,000 थी लोकल बैंक में या रिटेल बैंक में, और मुझे प्राइवेट बैंक में आई एम गेटिंग अ सैलरी ऑफ $25,000 और $20,000 and I am traveling business class. So how do I am going to offer you a low cost product? If you think, मतलब as a person I cannot even go to DFC and open the business because looking at the cost only, no, I think कैसे open करूँगा. So आप सोचिए इस बारे में. Then what they happen, they're very smart. They said चलो एक काम कर, जंबो इंश्योरेंस बेच दो. And jumbo insurance is a good product for people who understand that it's purely for insurance, but the incentives are huge. So a lot of us, we go to Africa and we sell jumbo insurance, which you also need because there's a risk in the African country of dying, and these companies cover it. But now that's one part of the story. The second part of the story is we will sell you a product where we never tell you the charges. We'll sell you structured notes. We'll again charge you 0.25. But eventually from the back, from the issuer end, we'll get 1 to 2 to 3%. On top of that, we will also promote leverage because some of us are happy with 15% return. We don't want 7-8% return. And in that case, what happens? When the time goes bad, we lose full capital. Now, why is structured notes a hazard? Let me cover that in an Excel sheet. So I don't know how many of you have written. Rohit, can you tell me if people have talked about the structured notes on their chat window?
No, not yet.
Okay. Please, I encourage you, and I also promote happily telling you that the structured note should not be done by uninformed investors. First of all, structured notes are based on equity. Equity itself is an investing class which should never be done for minimum to minimum, not less than 5 years. The structured notes, most of the structured notes are designed for 1 to 3 years. On top of that, they have been told to, they tell in a way they tell, and what our mind hear, they say conditional guarantee. We hear guarantee. They are not guaranteed at all. Whoever has bought a structured notes and have lost money will agree to me. Now I am putting an example. On 2018, we have simulated a structured notes.
Bhuvan, sorry, I think you should share your Excel sheet. We are not able to see.
Okay, this is not being shown. Please write your comments, etc. We would like to know if this is a topic which is interesting to you. So now what happened? You go, the banker comes to you, or the so-called broker comes to you, and he will tell you that we will be buying a structure note comprised of 3, 4, or 5 companies, and you have a gear put. I will not go to technicalities because not everybody would have bought it, but he will tell you up to 35% fall or 30% fall, we are protected. There is something called gear put. Then they will tell you, look, you will also get 3% or 2.5% quarterly coupon. And you know what good thing is? You will also get a call back if all these stocks are above 100% of our initial value. Now, you know, investor loves liquidity. I'm sure we all agree that we love liquidity. One. The second thing is we love guarantee. Third thing is we want coupon. We want coupon. और कुछ तो आ रहा है, पैसा आ रहा है हमारे पास. That's what our thinking is. कोई गलत नहीं है. इस चीज से खेलता है वो जो फाइनेंशियल जो पढ़ के आया है बहुत अच्छे कॉलेज से. Those people are smart enough. The big people who are the so-called hedge funds, they are the underwriter of these products for their benefit, and then it has been showcased to us as if it's a great product for us. The problem with this product is hidden cost, which has never been told to you. Even we don't know. I've designed roughly 200 structure notes, but they are never even transparent to us also. So now what happened? And the issuers are always this big company, etc. Now what happens? Because समझिएगा बहुत important है. If the market goes up, you get your money back and you get the coupon. You feel happy, but sir, you paid 1 to 2% on the structure notes, which is gone from your pocket, but you are not aware. And in 3 months, if it is called back, you got 3% max to max back if you are not leveraged. Because leverage तो मैं मना ही कर रहा हूँ, तो कैटेगरी इतनी रिस्की है, बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. तो देखिए, आपने 1% पे किया और 3 months में 3% आपने गेन किया. Ultimately, look at the proposition, and you are at complete risk, and the banker has got his money on the day one. क्या business है ये? Amazing business. Now imagine आपने 6 months में call back हुआ, तो आपको 6% मिल गया. अभी भी ये आप देखिए proposition by, this is a very good proposition for the banker. Now यहाँ मुझे कोई problem नहीं है. Let the banker make whatever he wants to. But now think about it. एक भी शेयर 100 पे नहीं आया because 50% getting down in a share and share stay there for at least 2 to 3 years is very common. Very, very common. And if that share doesn't come back, you have to hold the product or you have to get that share back in your account, and you will, now your complete $300,000 has gone into one share. कितना रिस्की प्रोपोजिशन है ये देखिए आप. ना इसको सिंपल करते हैं. मैं क्या बोलता हूँ अपने बैंकर को कि भाई मैं $300,000 को आपके जो 4 स्टॉक्स हैं उसमें डिवाइड करके डालता हूँ 75, 75, 75, 70. इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? कूपन नहीं मिलेगा आपको, बट आपकी रिस्क डिवाइड हो गई. स्ट्रक्चर नोट में आपकी रिस्क डिवाइड नहीं हुई थी, अब आपकी रिस्क डिवाइड हो गई. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड? You did not make money in Delta Airlines. In Tesla Motor, you actually made a lot of money. And I'm taking one example. We can chain Tesla with Amazon, Nvidia, any company. And now what happened? After the same 3-year period, we end up making out of $300,000 $1 million. Where suppose structure note has not been called back, we only got $300,000 or some coupon extra. We lost an opportunity of $700,000. Now this is still better because मेरा 3 लाख तो मुझे मिल गया. But imagine कीजिए इसके अंदर आपके पास यदि टेस्ला नहीं होता और मान लीजिए आपके पास ये कंपनी होती जिसका नाम है Alibaba. So Rohit, can you take Alibaba here for a minute? Just if you can change.
Alibaba is the 3rd company in the list.
Oh, it's already there. Okay, I'm sorry. So अभी now this is a good scenario because 18 to 21 है. इसको आप वापस कीजिए, let's say 21 to 23, and Alibaba would have lost you money and you would have lost more money in structure notes rather than buying them separately because you would have made money in the other company at least, and Tesla would have compensated for Alibaba or Apple would have compensated for Alibaba if you have Apple. Now मैं कहना क्या चाह रहा हूँ आपसे, ये बहुत हाई रिस्क इन्वेस्टमेंट है. उसमें लिखा हुआ है टर्म शीट में 12 से 15 रुपए की टर्म शीट आती है, साफ साफ लिखा रहता है ये रिटेल इन्वेस्टर के लिए नहीं है. और आप तभी मानेंगे मेरी जब आपका ये पैसा यहाँ पे एक बार लॉस हो जाएगा और आप स्टॉक लेके बैठे होंगे, क्योंकि हमने ये सब देखा है अपनी जिंदगी में. मैं कोई भी चीज थ्योरेटिकल नॉलेज से नहीं कह रहा हूँ, मैं चाहता हूँ कि इन्वेस्टर समझे कि 7% 8% के लिए हमको ये करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वी कैन जस्ट बाय S&P 500 और S&P 500 ETF and we can make this money. Yes, it is not guaranteed, but आप देखिए 5 साल का रिटर्न आज भी है 51%. यदि आप डिवाइड करते हैं तो 7 to 8% आता है. आप हिस्ट्री में चेक कीजिए S&P को, it has been always making us 7 to 8% return. So all I'm saying is to make 7-8% return, हमें structure notes करने की जरूरत नहीं है. This is what I want to tell you. So this is how I finished the structure note. The second point also. So we have now learned that low cost products are actually not low cost product. The guaranteed products are also having a hidden cost. And then one more product, arbitrage fund, which I told you, but let's not talk about it because it might not be useful for all of you. But arbitrage, they do leverage. They don't tell you. Things are hidden. And again, when things are hidden, there are leverage. At the end of the day, cost will fall on you. ऐसे एक एग्जांपल मैं आपको और देता हूँ. तो क्या हुआ यहाँ पे, मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा किसी का. यहाँ पे एक कंपनी ने क्या किया, इनबिल्ड लेवरेज कर दिया और बोला कि लेवरेज का जो रिकोर्स है वो आप पे नहीं है. व्हाट डज दैट मीन? आपने $100 दिया, हमने उसको बनाया $400 बाय इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू SBI बॉन्ड, HDFC बॉन्ड एक्सेट्रा. और हमने बोला है तो बहुत सेफ बॉन्ड्स हैं, आप चिंता मत करो और आपको लेवरेज का रिकोर्स नहीं आएगा. मतलब यदि मार्केट नीचे जाएगा तो मार्जिन कॉल आपको नहीं आएगी. और वास्तव में मार्जिन कॉल आई भी नहीं. 2020 आया और पूरा पैसा जीरो हो गया बिकॉज उन लोगों ने 4 से 5 गुना लेवरेज किया था. बॉन्ड्स फेल 15%. 15 into 4 is 60%, and they had to sell it out. And they said, sorry, हम तो पैसा लूज हो गया. HDFC, SBI ऐसे बॉन्ड्स के अंदर पैसा लूज हो गया. एंड आप पे लेवरेज रिकोर्स नहीं था, आप पे मार्जिन कॉल नहीं था, आपका पूरा पैसा चला गया. ये कॉल्स मुझे आते हैं बार बार बिकॉज मैं बहुत इंडस्ट्री में लॉन्गर हूँ, तो लोग मुझे आके कॉल करते हैं, ऐसा हो गया, कुछ कर सकते हैं क्या. तो ये भी एक समस्या हमने देखी है. नाउ एग्जिट लोड. नाउ आई वांट टू एक्सप्लेन यू व्हाई एग्जिट लोड इज देयर. Exit load is there for two reasons. One is investors get very casual with the investing product, the financial product. आज भी एशियन इन्वेस्टमेंट की पहली चॉइस होती है प्रॉपर्टी एंड फिक्स डिपॉजिट्स. तो क्या होता है कि वो अपने ये इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को बीच में बेच के चला जाता है और वो कभी भी वो अपने उस इन्वेस्टमेंट को समझता नहीं है. वो क्या करता है, टाइम होता नहीं, जल्दी जल्दी इन्वेस्टमेंट करता है. सो एग्जिट लोड जो है, एक रीजन तो ये लगाते हैं. सेकंड रीजन ये कि हम लोगों को इंसेंटिव जो देते हैं वो एग्जिट लोड के कारण मिलता है. सो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज वेरी एडवांस. दे हैव बेसिकली कट डाउन ऑन द एग्जिट लोड, दे हैव कट डाउन द एंट्री लोड, एंड दे आर हेल्पिंग अ लॉट टू प्रोटेक्ट. बट इन द रीजन लाइक दिस और इन द मॉरिशस, this is not happening. The investor protection is not happening. So what happened is that we sell you products with exit load because our employees have to be paid. And if we have to pay them, we are not charging you upfront. How do we pay them? So if you come out of the product in the middle, we charge you exit load. Now, how do we solve this? We solve it in a very simple manner. First manner is you understand the investment product. And if you understand the investment product, say no to exit load. Now, why should you say to no exit load? Because you are an informed investor. It is for an investor who does not understand the investment, and he might come out in 1 or 2 years. So, a lot of this platform product like Zurich, Royal Scandia, which I think the last point is FP Reserve. A lot of these products have exit load because from your money in advance, the broker is being paid. So, जो लोग समझदार नहीं है, जिनको अभी भी लगता है कि हम तो $1000 पर मंथ का इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहते हैं, उनको ये लगता रहेगा जिंदगी भर बिकॉज आपको कोई सेल करने आएगा नहीं. बिकॉज $1000 में यदि आपके हम कमा नहीं रहे हैं तो nobody will come and sell you. And I'm sure all of you would have taken this in your life. You remember ULIP in India, in the Prudential, ICICI Prudential and all, they used to sell by 2 years and 3 years. That's one part of the story. The second part of the story is this reserve product, this platform product, which allows you the capability like Old Mutual, which has become Sukun now, allows you to invest into the equity, but they have 1.5% charge every year, up to 8% charge in a 5 to 7 years period. I don't think so. We need to get into those products. But if you are a retail investor, non-informed, you will still be offered the exit load and you will bound take it. So one question I want to answer. There is something called PMS, Portfolio Management Scheme, and there is something called Alternative Investment Fund. I'm sure you would have seen in Nigeria, a lot of this bankers are now, or the investment company are coming and selling you AIF. Now they're coming and selling you AIF because in AIF they're allowed to charge you an exit load, and because of that they can get an incentive, which is very valid for them. But you know what? Why do we have to get into an investment product where we have to exit after 5 years? The portfolio management scheme, PMS, is offering you the same vehicle. Every company in India have 3 vehicles: mutual fund, PMS, and AIF. AIF is being sold for the distribution need because somebody needs to go all the way to you and sell and get incentive. But if you are an informed investor, you should do PMS because underlines are same. In the PMS, government is protecting you, not charging you the exit load, not charging the entry load. You are very liquid in the investment. You can partially withdraw, etc. Which flexibility is not there in the alternative investment fund. We also sell AIF, but you know why? Because people do not want to pay in lump sum and they'll sometimes like the fund manager. But eventually saying that we should have 2 or 3 PMSs and we should continue to hold them for life like a equity plot. So that is how exit load I would like to deal. If you have any question on the exit load, you can definitely tell me. Why I mentioned the exit load. One of investors who signed with us in from the your place, when about the funding of the account we talked about, he told us that there's an exit load in my investment and I'm not able to come out. So I want to give this message to all of you who have exit load. Please understand that you could have negotiated, you could have told them to make it 0, or could have kept for 1 or 2 years, because the fundamental problem is you would have not understood the investment product. So first of all, understand your investment product. If you'll understand, we don't have to pay exit load. We have to talk to our brokers and bankers and they will agree to it and they will not charge us exit load. But what does that mean? That also means they will tell you what they are charging you and you should be happy to pay the charges. Nothing comes for free. So exit load should be negotiated by you. That's what I'm basically telling you. Now, leverage and inbuilt leverage I've already covered in the second point. The one very good example is Alliance Income Fund. Now, what is Alliance Income Fund? Let's understand this. So Alliance Income Fund is basically a vanilla, a hybrid product of equity and bonds. Now, a very simple thing, every bank, every wealth management industry, every brokerage industry, unlike ours, unlike some of our big players, they work on a monthly revenue model. And monthly revenue means sales target. I think we all understand because even your organizations work on the sales target. Now, sales target has to be completed. How will I do it? I will sell you an investment of, let's say, $100,000. I will give you a leverage of $100,000. And I will tell you, look, 8% to coupon हर साल आपको आ ही रहा है. And they are paying you monthly or they are paying you quarterly. Now, investor सोचता है, वाओ, मेरा $100 में इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ और मुझे $8 मिल रहा है, ये तो 10 साल से 8 साल से हो ही रहा है, मैं लेवरेज भी कर लेता हूँ, 8 + 8 16, 16 - 3 or 4%, so I am now getting 12%. But please understand, the underlying is equity and bond together, and bonds are no hedge in this kind of scenario. So what happened? The Alliance Income Fund also come down, and you have margin call. That's one thing. So the margin call आपने भर दी. The second problem is now they're selling your units at loss and giving you the coupon, and we feeling happy कि हमें income तो आ रही है. The third problem is our interest costs have gone up. So even in this kind of hybrid product, we end up paying to the bank. So again, I will say, even if you buy Alliance Income Fund, leverage should be avoided because this is bond and equity combined. So, and if you take leverage, let's say you take leverage, get your interest rate cost fixed, which does not happen so easily. So all I'm saying is, in all totality, I am telling you to avoid leverage. आपको बाई करना है यदि ये इनकम फंड होगा तो आप बॉन्ड सेपरेट लीजिए और आप इक्विटी इन्वेस्टमेंट सेपरेट कीजिए. ये हाइब्रिड फंड मत कीजिए. ये सब हम आपके लिए लेके आते हैं ताकि आपको एक ना, बिकॉज इन्वेस्टर्स लाइक वैरायटी. नाउ हु डजंट लाइक डोसा में पाव भाजी की भाई डोसा भाजी, हु डजंट लाइक डोसा में वो चाउमीन डाल देते हैं. बट इवेंचुअली दाल चावल से बेटर कोई फूड नहीं है. पीपल हु आर वेजिटेरियन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट देम. सो आप इसे हाइब्रिड प्रोडक्ट से बचिए. डू प्लेन वनीला प्रोडक्ट. इसमें होता ये है कि हमारे हाथ में कंट्रोल नहीं होता, हम डर जाते हैं, and at the end of the day we end up selling at these kind of scenario and book the losses and we never come back to investing industry. Let me talk about bonds and how we can make 10 to 12%. I repeat, I will not invest into bonds. I don't invest into bonds. I have left that journey 7-8 years ago. But let me give you this very good chart, which will always help you to make money in the bond. Now, this particular slide and this particular 10-minute or 5-minute session is for people who want to make 10 to 11% in the bonds. People who want to make 5 and 6%, please continue to invest all the time in the bonds. This is not for you. It is for people who would like to have above inflation return. So if you look at the metrics, all the time when the inflation is high, interest is low, buy stocks. When interest rates are low, inflation is low, buy stocks. When inflation is high, interest rate is high, buy stocks. Now, why do you buy stocks when the inflation is low and interest rate is high? Today, US Treasury is offering roughly 4.85% yield, or a good bond might be offering 6% yield. What is yield? मैंने जो पैसा लगाया है उस पे कितना पैसा मुझे वापस मिलता है. If I divide that into number of years, yearly return is 6% in the investment grade bonds of 10 years, and in the US Treasury it is 4.85 to 5%. And all headlines are filled with this कि शायद ये bond में सही समय invest करने का, stock में नहीं. So from the theoretical perspective, from the logical perspective, bond में भी invest करने का समय सही है, स्टॉक से निकलने का समय सही नहीं. वो डिस्कशन करेंगे यदि क्वेश्चन आएगा तो. नाउ बॉन्ड्स में आते हैं. तो लेट्स से 100 रुपए का बॉन्ड है. एवरी बॉन्ड इज इशूड एट $100 par value. Current price of the, let's say, the investment grade bond is $85, and coupon is, let's say, 4%, and tenor is 10 years. Now, if you hold this bond for the maturity, you will get $15 back in terms of capital appreciation. आपको कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आएगा, प्लीज आप you feel free to raise your hand or talk to me here or tell in the chat window. So $15 का आपका कैपिटल एप्रिसिएशन होगा 10 साल में. $4 का कूपन है आपको जो मिल रहा है, करेक्ट. ये कूपन यदि आप देखेंगे तो आपको ये जो कूपन है यहाँ पे मैंने ऐड कर दिया, टोटल 55 आपको मिलेगा. तो 40 और 15, 40 plus 15, 55 is what you get a profit on the investment of 85. If I divide that into, we will get the yield, and I'll divide it by number of years. So 6.47% today we can make in a bond like Tata Motors or something, which is comparatively safe. Though Tata Motors की rating नहीं है उतनी, but Indian company is very strong. So 6.5 आज की तारीख में bond में मिल रहा है 10 साल के. ठीक है. Now again repeating, this is for people who want to make 10, 11, 12% in the bond. Now what we do is, let's say interest rate का जो cycle है, ये आज से कुछ एक साल के बाद ऐसा होता है कि अब इन्फ्लेशन का टारगेट अचीव हो जाता है, या कुछ ऐसे सिनेरियो बनते हैं कि फेड को इंटरेस्ट रेट कम करना पड़ता है. बाय द वे, फेड कैन नॉट रिड्यूस द इंटरेस्ट रेट टू 0. I will discuss that if there is a question. But Fed has enough arsenal in their war chest to reduce the interest rate from all the way to 5 to 2 or 3. Now, if Fed does that, you might get back in a year itself. If they do it in a year, which is a very least likely probability, we get back our 100, which means I get $15 back in a year itself. Now, this is 2024, not 23. Now, $15 I get back. And since I get back $15, I add that into my coupon, I get $19 profit back. Chances are very low for this. My yield, because I only paid 85, my yield is 22%. Now, this is a fantastic return if this happens, but let's say this will not happen. And we go back to 2027, which is roughly 3 years from here. In 3 years, I make $12 coupon, 4 into 3. My capital appreciation is $15. 15 plus 12 is 27. I get 27 back. This is very likely possible, by the way. This is very likely possible, the 27 scenario. And now what happens is, I will actually get 27 on 85, and I will make 11% roughly, or 10% after paying my brokerage without any leverage, with a high quality bond, friends. And we have bought a kind of a guaranteed product at maturity. So one more thing I want to tell you here, lot of people lost money in Sri Lankan bonds. Lot of people lost money in Sri Lankan bonds. Never ever buy any bond below BBB minus. कुछ भी हो जाए, आप कितने बड़े पढ़े लिखे हो, आप मत कीजिए ये, बिकॉज bonds are supposed to be bought only from the what do you call, never ever buy below this, because हम bonds को नहीं पढ़ सकते, कंपनीज के अंदर बहुत इश्यूज आते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल वेदांता बॉन्ड, lot of you would have bought Vedanta bond many times. We also bought many times and made money. But this time it is very different. And can anything happen? Vedanta is in a vicious cycle, and they keep raising money. And this time their cost of borrowing is huge, which they want to, and the LIC news was happening, but LIC did not fund them. Then they got money from, I think, Howard Mark and all. But I'm saying avoid Vedanta bond in all that time. आपको इतना ही पैसा बनाना है बॉन्ड से, तो इक्विटी मार्केट में आ जाइए. तो बॉन्ड कभी भी आप इन्वेस्टमेंट ग्रेड से नीचे नहीं खरीदें. हमारा पहला फोकस हमारा कैपिटल बचाना है. हमारा फोकस बॉन्ड में पैसे बनाना नहीं है, कैपिटल बचाना है. तो नाउ 2027 में आपको 27 वापस मिलते हैं. आपने 85 दिया था तो 11% बन गए. मान लीजिए आपने बॉन्ड रखा हुआ है 10 साल के लिए, विच इज रफली 23 to 33 में आपको 36% का कम्युनिटी कूपन मिल गया. सॉरी $36 का कूपन मिल गया आपको. तो 10, आई थिंक इट शुड बी $40. यहाँ पे एक चीज गड़बड़ है, मैं इसको ठीक कर देता हूँ. तो ये हमारा 2024 तो आ ही गया है, तो ये सही है. तो अब 9 साल में हमको $36 मिल गया कूपन. हमको वही 15% मिला. 15 प्लस 36 को हम ऐड करते हैं, 51 वी गॉट बैक. ऑन आवर 85 वी स्टिल गेट 12%. So all I'm saying is, or roughly थोड़ा बहुत मैथ्स गड़बड़ हुआ होगा तो 10-11%. So I'm thinking bonds are a very good scenario. So this is why you should buy a bond only when the interest rates are high and inflation are low. And sitting in Nigeria, you would like to protect your money without leverage. I showed you how you can make 10-11%. This has happened in 2008. After the crisis of 2008, it happened for roughly 4 to 5 years. And it might happen again from here to at least 2 to 4 years. And you can make a lot of money in the bond, and we'll see once you make the money. So one allocation can go to the bonds, and we can help you out to choose bonds in terms of as a friend, but we are not a company which is promoting bond investing. So with this, I will now move to the next slide. So I think I've covered this as well. And now structure notes, a fairy tale, which my friend Rohit has. So thank you for making this. It's a Wall Street innovation. And you now should also understand one thing. Warren Buffett operates from Omaha. He has never opened any office in Wall Street in New York. We are also very away from limelight. We do not want to come into the main thing, because we want to be a thinker, we want to be a contrarian, and we want to take you to the Warren Buffett's Omaha conference, which none of the bankers of US will promote you, because we feel we are stupid, we were stupid, and we still every day learn something. So we need to learn from the masters. Very simple thing. कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट करें, ये देख लीजिए कि क्या उस इन्वेस्टमेंट को करके कोई बिलियनर बना है. तो लेट्स से आर्बिट्राज फंड की बात करते हैं, या सेक्शन नोट. आप जानते हैं किसी को भी जिसने ट्रेडिंग करके बहुत सारा पैसा कमाया और जिंदा है? आप जानते हैं somebody who made lot of money by structure notes and he's become a billionaire? Do you know somebody? हाँ, bonds में है थोड़े बहुत, but generally you will find traders नहीं है, leverage traders नहीं है. So and by the way, Ben Graham ने भी गलती करी है leverage की. So हर आदमी करता है ये, अपनी गलती से सीखता है. So all I'm saying is very simple thing. जब आप कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं, ये देख लीजिए कि आप ऐसे कितने लोगों को जानते हैं कि वो करके उन्होंने पैसे वहां बनाए. This also I think we can share with you, and this is another example of a structure note where I think a lot of people have been sold Infosys, Tata Motors, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank. And what happened? Tata Motor went through a huge crisis, and 300 pay client client, if client would have just bought the structure note down, he would have lost $176,000. But if he would have bought these companies in parity, 75 each, even after losing for 50% on the structure, on the, sorry, not 50%, more than 70% on the Tata Motors, you would have lost less money on the your what do you call it, investment, and now you would have made money because the times are good. It is 2023 and not 2020. But in your structure note, you would have got back $86,000, and you would be so unhappy. You would have not gone back and understood and invested back. That is the main one more problem we face. So I think this will open the sheet. But I am done primarily with my presentation. I will be happy to take questions. I am right now not discussing what I do and how I do it, but I would love to first educate you today and maybe help you out with your questions. So let's go ahead with the questions, and if time permits, I will talk about it. Puneet ji, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bhuvan. That was indeed an informative, brief presentation, and I would like our interested audience to ask questions.
Can I ask this question? Okay.
Yeah, please,
No,
Mr.
no.
Prashant Bana.
Okay, Bhuvan, just it is, markets are volatile in during these times. So, in your opinion, for a fresh investor, for a person who is coming to the stock market first time, is it right time for him to enter? Question number one. And if yes, what kind of strategy he should adopt in whether he should go via mutual fund route or direct equities? If you can guide some of our members on that line.
Sure. Thank you, Patanjali, for asking.
Basically, I'm talking, sorry for correction. I'm talking about Indian equity markets.
First of all, in the world, there are three best markets: Sweden, India, and the US. Why? Because the democracy prevails and the entrepreneurship is a great way of looking at the whole economy. First best time to invest, Prashantji, in the equity market was yesterday. And the second best time is today. Do not look at market, look at what you're buying. We are not in the stock market. We're in the market of stocks. जैसे आज भी दुबई में आपको शायद एक अच्छी प्रॉपर्टी मिल सकती है बिकॉज मार्केट तो बहुत हाई है बट फिर भी यू माइट गेट वन डेस्परेट सेलर. Similarly, in the stock market, we are dealing with brands, and we have this typical way of showing, and maybe we can do that session that to answer your question. So Indian equity हो, US equity हो, बहुत बढ़िया समय है. प्लस प्लीज आप खुद मत करिए. इक्विटी मार्केट में जो जो 3 साल की बैलेंस शीट फाइनेंशियल नहीं पढ़ सकता, जिसके पास समय नहीं है किताब पढ़ने का या बुक्स नहीं पढ़ सकता, वो खुद ना करे. थर्ड थिंग इज नेवर बाय अ सिंगल इक्विटी. एनी इक्विटी कैन गो डाउन. हम खुद एज एन एक्सपर्ट गिरा हुआ स्टॉक भी लेते हैं तो 50% वहां से गिर जाता है. ये बहुत कॉमन है. तो आप नहीं करेंगे. यू हैव टू गिव इट टू द एक्सपर्ट्स डू इट who are, and how will you do it, which kind of method you will use. You will only use value investing method. Value investing method means buy and hold. You will not buy with anybody who's a trader who is buying selling. You will look for people who are working with you on the performance fee basis, or let's say 2.5% fees, and you will see that companies which they have bought are the companies who have good track record and they're doing it. That much investor can do, and you have to look at their investing philosophy. तो बहुत सिंपल सी बात है. हम बिजनेस जब करते हैं तो हम क्या करते हैं, सबसे अच्छा बिजनेस कौन सा है, हम एडवांस में पैसे ले लें और बाद में माल दें. जैसे हम बात करते हैं कैलॉग्स की. आपने कभी सुना है कैलॉग्स ने किसी कस्टमर को उधारी माल बेचा हो, या अमेजोन ने आपको उधारी दिया हो? सुनिए जी, कभी आपको पता है एप्पल आपने फोन लिया हो और एप्पल ने बोला ठीक है पैसा 2 साल बाद देना? कभी नहीं होता ना.
No, no, not possible.
तो आपको ये देखना है जो कंपनी उन्होंने हमारा खरीद रखी है, इन्वेस्टर ने, जो आपके फंड मैनेजर ने, वो कैसी कंपनी खरीद रखी है. एशियन पेंट्स हो गया, एचडीएफसी बैंक हो गया. सो ऐसी कंपनी, एचडीएफसी बैंक का मैं एग्जांपल लेता हूँ. अभी तो आईसीआईसी बैंक बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है, बट एचडीएफसी बैंक एक अपने आप में बहुत एग्जांपल है बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री में. बड़े कंजर्वेटिव लोग हैं. मैं सेकंड लैंग्वेज बोलता हूँ, बहुत डरपोक लोग. ये वो काम करते हैं जहाँ पे दे आर वेरी मच सिक्योर ऑफ देयर लैंडिंग मैकेनिज्म. Though I am against the investing in the bank. So what my answer to Prashant is that please do through fund managers. We can help you out. You want to talk to the the company directly, we can just tell you which are the best company. This is not the forum, but take our number and happy to talk to us. But please get it right away, but have a 5-year horizon. One more thing, no fund manager will make you money. No fund manager will lose you money. What is written in your fate will be delivered through us. We'll try our best, but 5 साल यदि आप नहीं रुकेंगे और तो आपका पैसा नहीं बनेगा. बन भी गया तो फ्लूक है. तो 5 years is very important. Value investing study is very important. Buy and hold is very important.
Sorry if I'm asking the second question in a row. You guided very well. So my next question is, let me ask in terms of sector, which sector in Indian equity market or in Indian business scenario you think is going to give or create wealth for the investors? Which sector?
देखिए ये जो आपने देखा CNBC में ये फंड मैनेजर्स आते हैं, दे टॉक अबाउट सेक्टर एंड ऑल। एक बात प्रशांत जी पूछ सकता हूँ आपसे, कैन आई आस्क यू, आपका
Sure.
इक्विटी मार्केट में कितना एक्सपोजर है इंडिया परसेंटेज में?
Percentage in terms of my own wealth?
आपकी वेल्थ $100 है, $100 है, आपका कितना
Yes.
इन्वेस्ट स्टॉक में?
I have exposure of around 50%,
50%।
almost 60% rather. Yeah.
अभी सेक्टर फंड, जो सेक्टर एलोकेशन की आप बात कर रहे हैं ना, देखिए मैक्सिमम मनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में बनी है, IT में बनी है, बैंक में बनी है, इंडिया के अंदर की बात। तो अभी आप ना ये सेक्टर वेक्टर छोड़ दीजिए, मैं आपको समझ आपने पूछा है तो मैं एक और चीज शेयर ही कर देता हूँ। देखिए तीन सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट क्राइटेरिया होते हैं स्टॉक बाय करने के, क्वालिटी, ग्रोथ एंड वैल्यूएशन, करेक्ट? आई रिपीट, क्वालिटी, ग्रोथ, वैल्यूएशन। नाउ दिस मींस व्हाट फॉर द लेमैन इन्वेस्टर्स? देखिए आई एम इन्वेस्टिंग इन अ प्रमोटर्स कंपनी, जो भी ITC के प्रमोटर हैं मैं उनमें इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहा हूँ। ये टोबैको बेचते हैं, ये अगरबत्ती बेचते हैं, ये आटा बेचते हैं, सब कुछ बेचते हैं, कंज्यूमर कंपनी है। मुझे यदि पैसा बनाना है स्टॉक मार्केट में तो मेरे प्रमोटर को पैसा बनाना पड़ेगा। डू यू एग्री?
Yes.
जेफ बेजो यदि बिलियनियर नहीं बनेंगे, मल्टी बिलियनियर नहीं बनेंगे, तो मैं मिलियनियर नहीं बनूंगा यदि मैं अमेजॉन में इन्वेस्टेड हूं। तो मुझे भगवान से रोज प्रे करना चाहिए कि जेफ बेजो और अच्छा करें, वो एलेक्सा का 3rd वर्जन लेके आए, एस्ट्रो लेकर के आए, एलॉन मस्क जो है वो टेस्ला के बाद फ्लाइंग कार लेके आए, या वो क्या कहते हैं आपका अभी वो रोबोट लेके आ रहे हैं घर में। सो प्रमोटर हैज टू मेक मनी। दिस ROC इज द रिटर्न ऑन द कैपिटल डिप्लॉयड, द डेट, लॉन्ग टर्म डेट प्लस इक्विटी। Now, if a promoter is making 50 to 40%, it's quality. Correct?
Right. Yeah.
Now, after that, I go and check the sales growth of the company for the last 10 years. I'm giving you a rough understanding of the things. तो सेल्स ग्रोथ देखिए आप ITC की 10% भी नहीं है 10 साल में। ठीक है जी? Now, these two are important. सेक्टर वेक्टर important नहीं है. It is leave it to the experts. आपके लिए important ये है कि ROC क्या है जो कंपनी वो ले रहा है 10 साल की। इंडिया में आपको बेनिफिट है, स्क्रीनर अवेलेबल है, तो देख लीजिए आप जो इन्वेस्टमेंट आप सब कर रहे हैं। पर आप खुद इन्वेस्टमेंट यदि करते हैं तो मैं तो उतना प्रमोट नहीं करूंगा। मैं बोलूंगा यदि आपको फंड मैनेजर को नहीं देना है, रिसर्च सर्विसेज ले लीजिए जो 25,000 रुपए में मिलती है, 50,000 रुपए में मिलती है। क्या फर्क पड़ता है? बिकॉज ये अच्छा बाय द वे, आप फुल टाइम इन्वेस्टर्स हैं या आप लोगों के थ्रू इन्वेस्ट करते हैं? वो भी क्वेश्चन है मेरा।
Okay, I manage my own portfolio. I don't have any advisor. I don't have any expert who. I mean, I take guidance from many of my friends and advisors, but I manage my own portfolio.
मैं आपको एक लॉन्ग आंसर देता हूँ। दिस इज अ बुक बाय पुलक प्रसाद। ये किताब आप पढ़िए, आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा, आप फुल टाइम इन्वेस्टर हैं, आपको ये शॉर्ट आंसर्स काम नहीं आएंगे। आप इनको पढ़िए और फिर अपना पैसा मैनेज कीजिए। मेक सेंस?
Yeah, makes sense. Actually, I asked the questions on behalf of the members. Some of my friends who could not attend today's forum, I can see. So they had shared these questions with me in past or just before this session. So I have asked on their behalf.
नो प्रॉब्लम। ये जो
Yeah.
सेशन हमने किया है आज का, ये है अबाउट
Yeah.
चूजिंग राइट इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रोडक्ट। आप जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं, आप पूछ रहे हैं कि मैं किस सेक्टर में इन्वेस्ट करूं, तो आज का सेशन उसके लिए है नहीं। मुझे आंसर देने में दिक्कत नहीं है, तो 1-to-1 वी कैन डिस्कस दैट as a you can also I will
Sure.
also
Sure.
invite you to
Sure.
value investing community. We can discuss that. Yeah. Can we take next question, Sonia ji?
I also have one question, like considering that old times, since people used to invest in gold, how about your opinion on the souvenir bonds as an investment?
In India, right? The gold bonds.
Yes, gold bonds in India.
The government is giving you gold return and gold and a value plus some interest rate, correct?
Yeah, inflation, that gold price inflation and interest, both are covered in that.
I will say avoid it. कोई काम का नहीं है, बट आप एक अच्छे समय पे क्वेश्चन पूछ रही हैं। गोल्ड इज पॉइज्ड टू गो अप, ये मेरा पर्सनल ओपिनियन है, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ क्यों। देखिए, तो बाय द वे वॉरेन बफेट से किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि गोल्ड में इन्वेस्टमेंट क्यों नहीं करते, तो उन्होंने बोला कि इफ जो भी गोल्ड वर्ल्ड में अवेलेबल है उससे यू कैन मेक अ स्टैचू ऑफ लेट्स से 450 मीटर बाय 450 मीटर बाय 450 मीटर। एंड व्हेन Warren Buffett said, I asked that lady, the beautiful statue, that please get me a glass of water. So the lady says, I look beautiful, but I can't give you a glass of water. What does that mean? That only invest into products which give you yield. मैंने क्यों कहा स्टॉक बेचने की जरूरत नहीं है? बिकॉज जब स्टॉक आपके 10 साल 20 साल में 50 गुना 20 गुना हो जाएंगे, जो आपको डिविडेंड आएगा स्टॉक में, इट विल बी इक्वलेंट ऑफ योर कॉस्ट प्राइस पे 15 से 20% का डिविडेंड आपको हर साल आएगा. सो प्रमोटर आर नेवर सेड, देखिए हाउ पीपल हैव बिकम रिच. Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, the biggest investors are the who made money in the stock markets are not the fund manager, not the retail investor. It is the businessman. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Ambani, ITC promoters, Asian Paint Choksey Saab. How did they make money? By staying put on their quality stock and keep buying more instead of buying, selling. Correct? Makes sense? So now coming to your question.
Yeah.
Coming to your question, Sonia ji, gold has a cycle, a typical cycle of 10 year going down and then coming back and then going up. 10 year again, gold doesn't make money. So gold has a cycle of 10 year, gold doesn't move. Now gold move कैसे करता है? Gold is a hedge against the uncertainty. Gold is a hedge against the inflation. अभी आपने इजराइल वॉर में चेक किया होगा, गोल्ड $1800 था. In fact, we went to buy gold. And that was the day इसमें सूतक लगा हुआ था. People who are from the India Hindu people, they'll understand that after the Ganesh, there is a period when we don't buy any new thing. And in the meantime, Israel war happened. Israel-Gaza conflict happened, unfortunately. And then what happened is the gold rallied to $2000. You saw that, Sonia ji? आपने भी देखा होगा.
Yes.
Yeah. So abhi what happened? US has lost the ability to increase the interest rate. डॉलर में क्या होता है, जब तक इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ता रहता है, डॉलर की डिमांड बढ़ती रहती है, बिकॉज डॉलर इज अ करेंसी विच वी ऑल ट्रेड इन. 67 to 70% डॉलर इज आउटसाइड ऑफ यूएस. सारा ऑयल प्राइस, गोल्ड प्राइस सब डॉलर में होता है. तो अभी क्या हो गया है सोनिया जी, द गोल्ड हैज नॉट मेड मनी फॉर पीपल इन द लास्ट 10 ईयर. देखिए आप 10 साल में आपने गोल्ड लिया था $1770 से, आज भी वहीं के वहीं खड़ा है, अब जाके थोड़ा सा पैसा बना है. करेक्ट? तो गोल्ड की रैली हर 10 इयर्स में नहीं होती, हर 20 इयर्स में होती है. जो आपने देखा 2008 में हुआ. आप ध्यान से देखिए, 2000 में गोल्ड था $459 एंड इट हैज बिकम 2376, रफली 5 times 6 times गेन. वो टाइम पे हम खड़े हैं बिकॉज यूएस हैज लॉस्ट द एबिलिटी टू इंक्रीज द इंटरेस्ट रेट. एंड एक और सिंपल सा आपको बात बताता हूँ. तो जी गोल्ड जो है वो डॉलर में, करेक्ट? जो वैल्यू
Yes.
है. अब डॉलर यदि मैं और प्रिंट कर दूं तो गोल्ड का प्राइस बढ़ेगा कम होगा?
कम होगा.
कैसे? मैंने इतने डॉलर्स हैं और गोल्ड का प्राइस है. अब डॉलर बढ़ गए दुनिया में, डॉलर सप्लाई बढ़
तो
गई,
प्राइस बढ़ जाएगी. हाँ.
तो गोल्ड का प्राइस बढ़ जाएगा, बिकॉज गोल्ड तो आप ओवरनाइट प्रिंट नहीं कर सकते.
वो
इसी कारण 2020
Yes.
में 2020 में आप देखा होगा आपने, 5 साल का चार्ट देखिए, ये देखिए आपको दिखता है, ये दिख रहा है आपको प्राइस, ये जो बढ़ा है ना, इस कारण गोल्ड का प्राइस बढ़ गया. एंड समहाउ दे मैनेज द इकोनॉमी. बट अब जब 1.5 साल बाद 2 साल बाद इशू आएगा, दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू मैनेज एंड दे हैव टू रीप्रिंट द मनी. इनफैक्ट यू वुड हैव हर्ड समथिंग कॉल्ड डेट सीलिंग. आपने सुना डेट सीलिंग वर्ड?
No.
US is the most borrowing country in the world. We all are the lenders. हम लोगों को फिक्स डिपॉजिट बहुत पसंद है, एशियन इन्वेस्टर को बहुत पसंद है फिक्स डिपॉजिट. वो पूरा फिक्स डिपॉजिट जाता है घूम फिर के यूएस के पास, बिकॉज इंडियन गवर्नमेंट, ऑल दिस कंपनी वर्ल्ड, दे कीप द मनी इनटू दी what you call in the Fed and Fed is now having a high inflation. So what happened eventually, they will not be able to repay the debt and they can't default on the US payment. So what will happen, they have to reprint more money and that's how the interest rate goes down. So dollar will start losing their value and you will see a 4 to 5 times of gain in the next 10 years. So आज की तारीख में आपका क्वेश्चन एकदम सही है, but from a long term investor who want एकदम peace of mind, एक और बात बता दूं मैं आपको, गोल्ड कमोडिटी है या गोल्ड ब्रांड है? लेट मी आस्क यू.
Commodity.
कमोडिटी ना कभी भी आप रख के पैसा नहीं बना सकते. कमोडिटी आपको बाय सेल करना पड़ता है. 10 साल बाद आपको या 6 साल बाद जब आपका गोल्ड 4 गुना हो जाएगा, यू हैव टू सेल द गुड. नाउ एप्पल ब्रांड है या कमोडिटी?
Apple is a brand.
तो 10 साल पहले आपने गोल्ड रखा था यहाँ पे ऐसे, आपको वो गोल्ड वैसे ही मिलेगा, राइट?
Yes.
एप्पल, यदि मैं आपसे पूछूं कि मुझे एप्पल का iPhone 10 चाहिए तो आप मिलेगा मार्केट में?
iPhone 10 as of now?
हाँ.
No, it's tough to find a 10
तो
series.
क्या होता है ब्रांड जो होता है ना, ब्रांड होता ही ऐसा है कि दे कीप रिनोवेटिंग
Yes.
and that is why the old company dies. Why you have noticed the people who are in their 45 to 55 and 60, their salaries are huge, and the people who are starting their career, their salaries are low, and the difference is huge
Hmm.
because they have increased their brand value. Apple is not a company what we have invested 10 years ago. So when you buy a brand, Sonia ji, you can keep on investing. When you buy
Yeah.
gold, you have to buy and sell. But you are at right time, in my opinion, in my history reading, gold is poised to go up. So can go ahead and buy gold. I'm sorry, I answer little bit
No, thank you. I understand. Thank you. So, any other questions from members or audience?
I will take Mahesh ji ask a question. I have PGIM mid cap mutual fund which is performing bad since 1 or 2 years. Want to come out from here and invest in one of the best mid cap mutual fund kind. Suggest couple of mid cap mutual fund which has bright future. So in this, Mahesh ji, we will send you an email. My India office, my brother is he handles the mutual fund. I will request you to send the fact sheet to me because I cannot decide just by name. It is also the fund manager investment philosophy and the kind of stock they have. The only problem in the mutual fund that the fund manager has to keep churning because of the regulation. So mutual fund is a retail product and you have to keep selling and buying. Parag Parikh is a great mutual fund investment. Apna Contra, Investo Contra is a great mutual fund. But my brother is an expert in this. I will connect you to him and feel free to have a session with him and understand his proposition. The second question is coming from Vikas ji. Vikas ji, FCNR deposit, मैंने आपको पहले कहा था कि आपको 5% कमाना है तो कोई भी फिक्स डिपॉजिट एक अच्छे बैंक में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट इफ यू आस्क मी फ्रॉम माय एंगल आई विल नेवर डू इट बिकॉज 5% मुझे कमाना नहीं है. तो ये सेविंग के एस्पेक्ट से बिल्कुल प्लीज गो अहेड एंड डू द एफसीआर डिपॉजिट. कोई इशू ही नहीं है. दिस इज नो बिगर क्वेश्चन. आप सेविंग कर रहे हैं तो अच्छी बात है. बट यदि आपको 15% बनाना है डॉलर में तो ये क्वेश्चन ही जो है ना मतलब जरूरत ही नहीं है. बट एनीवेज ठीक है, यू कैन डू दैट. डू वी हैव मोस्ट वेलकम. Now, if we do not have more questions in the time, I want audience to tell us if they will tell, because if they will not tell on the chat window, we will not do it and we'll end up the session because we're already 1 hour 10-15 minutes. Okay, do you have PMS? What is the minimum amount? Okay. So Hemanji, yes, we have the PMS. Thank you for asking that question. We are licensed from Mauritius and our minimum investment amount is $250,000. And we can discuss that in a separate window. So Hemant ji will note your name and all. Or you share your number to our team. We can discuss. So our investment PMS is there for sure. Our first promise to the investor is if we cannot explain the investing to a housewife or a office boy or any lay person who is not from the finance background, we will leave investing. So Sonia ji, assuming you are a lay investor, and one more thing also, we would like to educate the women also. So assuming you are a lay investor, we want to tell all the people, and our investors are also very highly educated. They are from Harvard, they are business people. We go to them and say, oh, look, we are very smart, you don't know anything. It's a wrong approach of investing. We believe anybody who has made more money than us, who has more knowledge in education than us, he actually knows more than us. Maybe the orientation is needed because I am not that intelligent. I know that I am not a sharpshooter. I can have patience. I can be disciplined. But if you will tell me solve 10 questions in 5 minutes, I am not that person. So we want to promote equity investing in a very simple manner to show the world that please come to the equity for all the employee class, for all the trader kind of business people who are losing their businesses to in the hand of the multinationals and the corporation. This is the only way, safest way to make money. And that is why we want to choose you as a fund manager. Who has no, maybe, but let me ask you before I go ahead. Are you from finance background, Sonia ji?
Yeah, I'm qualified chartered accountant by profession. And I'm handling the equity of my personal equity on my own.
So sorry, Sonia ji, galat ho gaya actually. You're not qualified to become our fund manager. So do we have somebody who is not from finance background? Please speak up and we would like you to make fund manager who Who think he doesn't have investing knowledge? Who thinks who's not qualified to read balance sheet? So Sonia ji, I'm very sorry.
No issue,
Anybody?
it's okay.
I think Vikas Kane, you can come in.
Yeah, Vikas, please come in. Very qualified people are on the call. I'm very sorry.
Yes, sir.
Vikas ji, please show up. Please switch on your video if you can. So Vikas ji, please tell the audience that you are not a qualified chartered accountant, CFA, etc. Correct?
Yes, definitely. I'm a marketing person.
Very nice, very nice. So Vikas ji, what we want to promote that investing is so simple. And there are 4 subjects: investing, insurance, finance, and banking. And we have no idea of this accounting and banking. We understand only investing. We don't lend money, etc. So investing is what we understand. This when we talk about investing, people think it's a finance. It is not finance. It is only investing. So now we put three rules in front of you, and then we want you to approach the investing. The first rule which we want to put in as a layman, and आप बताएंगे ये आपको मंजूर है कि नहीं. The first rule is you will invest my money because I am giving you $1 million. And I will explain this to you. I am giving you my $1 million or everybody's $1 million. You are investing that $1 million 10 years ago. And we are meeting after 10 years today, let's say on 26th of the October. And after 10 years, we're evaluating what you have done with my money. Is it clear? Because is it easy to understand?
Yes.
Now, I have 3 conditions, which you tell me if you're okay with it. You will invest in the companies where your family and you are the end consumer. Do we agree on this? Is it easy? Is it easy to understand? मैं example देता हूँ आपको. So let's say आपका account HDFC Bank में है, and you are happy with it. That is what it's called. You are the end user. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है आपको HDFC Bank में क्या financials है क्या नहीं है. आप उन्हीं कंपनियों में मेरा पैसा इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. Is that fine?
Yes, fine.
The second thing is मैं बहुत डरपोक इन्वेस्टर हूँ, बहुत कंजर्वेटिव हूँ. आप मेरा पैसा will only invest our money, whether it is mine or the people who are paying money, only 10% in one company. Correct? Make sense? Or difficult है? Difficult है?
Yeah, fine.
तो अब देखिए हमने आपके शीट में ऑलरेडी कर दिया है. आप हर कंपनी में हमारा $1 million डिवाइडेड बाय 100,000 डाल सकते हैं. क्लियर है? थर्ड थिंग आई वांट टू लास्ट थिंग, कोई भी बाइंग सेलिंग आप नहीं करेंगे. नो बाइंग एंड नो सेलिंग, बिकॉज आप नाइजीरिया में हैं. नाइजीरिया का वीजा कॉस्ट बहुत ज्यादा है, तो आई कांट ट्रेवल. आप दुबई आते नहीं है, और लॉट ऑफ टाइम आई स्पेंड इन रीडिंग भगवत गीता एंड बैडमिंटन, एंड आपका मार्केटिंग में टाइम जाता है. तो कोई बाइंग सेलिंग हम नहीं करेंगे 10 साल तक. एक बार आप शेयर लेंगे तो 10 साल बाद हम आज 26 तारीख को मिलके विल सी कि आपने क्या किया हमारे पैसे के साथ. इज दैट सिंपल एंड आर यू ओके विद इट? तो सोनिया जी, आपने देखा होगा कि विकास जी ने 2 कंपनियों में हमारा पैसा बना के नहीं दिया, आईटीसी और टाटा मोटर्स में. विकास जी, आपने नोट किया, आपने सिर्फ एफडी भी बीट नहीं किया आपने, बट उसके बावजूद भी आपने, विकास जी, आई थिंक इन माय ओपिनियन यू डिड अ फैंटास्टिक जॉब बाय मेकिंग अस 15% CAGR, मेकिंग 1 crore to 4.177 crore. So friends, I think you should give a big round of applause on the Zoom for Vikas ji, who has no knowledge of investing. He could make the money. Now, I want to ask Sonia ji. Sonia ji, have you been making 15% on your money for the last 5, 7, 6 years on the stock market?
No, 15% recently, no, it's not possible.
So सोनिया जी, अब मैं डिस्कस करूंगा कि देखिए यहाँ पे एजुकेशन इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. बहुत CFA घूम रहे हैं, और हम भी कहीं ना कहीं CFA के पीछे भागते हैं. ऑल यस, देयर आर ऑल गुड डिग्रीज, बट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट विजडम, व्हाई डिड वी मेक मनी हियर ऑडियंस? वी मेक मनी बिकॉज वी डिड नॉट डू बाय एंड सेल. राइट विकास जी? सेकेंड थिंग, we invested in what we know. We invested in what we know. Third, we had a long horizon, means we had patience. Okay, so वे जो buy and sell है basically इसको बोलते हैं no trading, right? और low trading. और इस कारण क्या हुआ? हमने टैक्स नहीं दिया, no tax, right? हमने टर्नओवर नहीं किया, and this and low fees because हमने brokerage भी कम दिया. Now that is one more reason we make money. One more reason we make money, we didn't time the market. Time in the market is more important than timing the market. So just to show you something, I will now go to COVID period. So let's say COVID was 26 March and विकास जी हमारा पैसा मैनेज कर रहे हैं और आप देखिए उसके बाद भी पैसा बन रहा था, करेक्ट? देख रहे हैं आप सब लोग? 26 मार्च को मैं चेंज कर देता हूं 26 जनवरी में and you will notice that 1 crore had become 2.8 crore and जैसे ही वो 26 मार्च आता है that money has lost roughly 70 lakhs. मैं नहीं बेचता हूं और मैं एक साल वेट करता हूं और वही पैसा मेरा 2.1 से 3.3 करोड़ हो जाता है. मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं ये बहुत इजी लगता है थ्योरी में, बट जब वो कोविड आता है ना, एक तो हम लोग पैसा और डालते नहीं है, ऊपर से जो फंड मैनेजर मैनेज कर रहा होता है ना उसको भी बैंड बजा देते हैं और बोलते हैं भाई तुमने पैसा कुछ किया नहीं एक्सेट्रा. देखिए आपके सामने है, बिना कुछ किए पैसा बना. Now I want to promote this to you. Time in the market is more important than time in the market. And मैं आपको example दे रहा हूँ. I am sitting with the money of investors. Even people who have made money through us at this time, they are not coming ahead and saying हम आपको और पैसा देते हैं. They're asking us market को ऊपर कब लेके जाओगे? क्या हो रहा है equity market में? तेरा पैसा क्यों नहीं बन रहा है? देखिए आपके सामने है. Now these are some principles for a layman. I cannot discuss my investing right now, but we do not even started right now. I have not even discussed how we do investing. Probably I will request IPF to organize another session or we do one-to-one. But equity investing is not for layman because it's the past. But eventually, even if you would have done this or you would have invested in this company now also, you will do a decent job. So कोई जरूरत नहीं है ट्रेडिंग करने की. Please don't trade. Don't sit in front of your stock every day and understand the businesses. If you want to manage your own money, understand the businesses, because there's a very good saying, price is a slave of earning. So if your company where you have made 20%, 24% CAGR return in Indian currency, their businesses have done great. Where you have not made money, like Tata Motors and all, इतने सालों से टाटा ट्राई कर रहा है नंबर 1 बनने का, बट वो जो मारुति के पास एज है वो आज तक टाटा लेके नहीं आ पाया. तो प्लीज डू नॉट ट्राई एंड बाय टाटा मोटर्स की गिर गया है. भाई तो एक अच्छा है यहाँ पे वो आपको बस शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. यस बैंक जब गिर जाता है सबसे ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट रिटेल इन्वेस्टर करते हैं. हमारा अप्रोच यस बैंक में गोल्ड वाला ही है, प्रॉपर्टी वाला ही. अरे गिर गया ले लो, नहीं. फर्स्ट थिंग इन द इन्वेस्टमेंट इज क्वालिटी. क्वालिटी इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्राइटेरिया फॉर इन्वेस्टिंग इन द स्टॉक. कोई स्टॉक जो गिर गया है वो और गिर सकता है. तो आप सोच रहे हैं कि 100 रुपए का स्टॉक यदि 50 रुपए हो गया है और कितना गिरेगा, वो गिर के 2 भी हो सकता है. तो बहुत सारे स्टॉक्स पेनी स्टॉक बन गए, खत्म हो गए. तो क्वालिटी प्रिवेल्स एंड द क्वालिटी इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. विकास जी, आर यू हैप्पी विद योर परफॉर्मेंस?
Bhuvan, in this model, in this Excel sheet that you have worked out nicely, I'm sure you have just tracked the stock price at the beginning and as of today. What about the bonus, dividend, split,
Right, correct.
all those things?
कुछ फीस दो दे
वो और
नहीं तो देखिए, तो आईटीसी में पैसा लूज नहीं हुआ है बिकॉज आईटीसी ने डिविडेंड दिया है. आपने बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट रेज किया है. क्योंकि क्या वी वर डूइंग इट फॉर द डिविडेंड यील्ड इज देयर 3%. सो बहुत सारे स्टॉक्स में डिविडेंड बना है इंडिया के अंदर भी. वो विकास जी की फीस है, उनसे उनकी फीस मत दीजिए. तो यदि वो आप खुद मैनेज कर रहे हैं तो उसमें आप 30 लाख रुपए और जोड़ दीजिए आराम से, तो वो पैसा भी बना है.
Exactly.
वो आई कैन नॉट शो इट हियर बिकॉज कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी है बहुत. डिविडेंड जोड़ने पड़ेंगे.
I know.
thank you for saying. So a wonderful audience. I think I will share this sheet with you. Everything is open in this in our life. My number is with you. I please ask relevant question whenever you would like to reach out to me. Don't do wrong investment. If you lose money, I get pained because neither money is yours nor money is mine. We all are custodian of our money on the behalf of our generation, in behalf of our family. I'll also say one thing: read Bhagavad Gita. If you are Hindu, if you are Muslim faith or your Christian faith, please read your books, because this is helping us to understand life. We all are custodian. In my thinking, Lakshmi ji goes where Narayan goes. Narayan is into the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Lakshmi ji is not only money, it's us Lakshmi. It is basically Dhan Lakshmi, Dhair Lakshmi. Dhair is patience, Vidya Lakshmi, which is the knowledge. Adi Lakshmi, Lakshmi ji is already there. It is neither you're gonna make it nor destroy it. Like the energy, we cannot destroy or we cannot create. So Lakshmi goes where Narayan goes. Narayan is where the wisdom is. When we get the wisdom, like Warren Buffett, or I talk about people like Sadhguru, or people who are the of very, or let's Narendra Modi for that example, the money follows them. Ambanis have added value in the society, though we don't invest in their company because of so-called practices, but Tatas have added those values. But just don't go blind by Tata. Tata, you have to understand the CEO, you have to understand the business. Sometimes you are into bad businesses. Like Tata Motor is a bad business. In fact, I will say the whole automotive sector is a bad business. Automotive ancillary, automotive, because there's too much of competition. It's all about a price war, innovation. So be away from the businesses which need a lot of changes. So anyway, we'll do a equity session also for people who are individual equity investors, and we can discuss only equity. I think you have been a great audience. 1 hour 50 minutes. I think I've broken all the record today, and you have really been patient. But I showed you in my humble approach that equity investment is over misunderstood. So or this is a very simple investment. ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाने का नहीं है यहाँ पे. ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाने का नहीं है. रोज मार्केट में कुछ नहीं हो रहा. Mr. Market will come and give you price for Israel war, for Ukraine war, for Fed interest rate. हमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है. 5 साल में, by the way, ये 7 साल जो मैंने दिखाया आपको, इसको 5 साल भी कर देता हूँ आपके लिए. And you can check this for every 5-year period, 13 to 18, 14 to 19, and you will see every period you made money. बट ये पेशेंस ही तो नहीं है हमारे पास. किसी भी करियर में भी हमको टाइम लगता है. शुरू के 5 साल 4 साल समझने में लगता है. तो 10,000 आवर्स आप देंगे खुद किताबें पढ़ के. हमारी वेबसाइट में आपको शेयर करता हूँ. रीडिंग लिस्ट है हमारे इसमें. बहुत कम बुक्स अभी हमने यहाँ रखी है. हमने कम से कम ऐसे 2 गुना बुक पढ़ी हुई है. बट ये बुक्स में यदि आप 2-4 भी पढ़ते हैं तो आपको मजा आएगा. मैं अपने एक और गुरु को नमन करना चाहता हूँ आपके सामने, पीटर लिंच साहब, जिनके कारण मैंने बहुत पैसे बनाए इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए. लर्न टू अर्न. Peter Lynch is an amazing fund manager. Read his book. This is called One Upon Wall Street. I think we have still not put it here. I think the list is very incomplete. But this is a great list. Peter Lynch has a fundamental guru of mine. And then I moved on to how Warren Buffett carved himself by reading Philip Fisher. So Philip Fisher, Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, they are the great people to read about. People who want to start their own startup business, they should read the book called Almanac of Rampal Ravi Khan. People who are in the list very much interested in the history, they should read the book by Americana by Bhuvan Gupta. He has written about the history of everything. People who want to be very successful in their corporate career because they want to promote ethical value, they should read Berkshire Hathaway by Lawrence, and Beyond Berkshire Hathaway. It talks about how you can make your business ethical. People who would like to understand the 21 Lessons by Yuval Noah Harari is a great book about Vipassana also. The meditation is the way to calm us down. पैसा मार्केट बनाता है, पैसा कंपनीज बनाती हैं, फंड मैनेजर सिर्फ अल्फा बनाता है. तो मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है? आपका टाइम और स्ट्रेस बचाने की. तो आपके पास टाइम और स्ट्रेस है देने के लिए, तो आप अपना पैसा खुद मैनेज कर सकते हैं. Then there's a book by Guy Spear, a good guy who has studied from Harvard, and he was to do short selling, etc. with Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman is very famous. And then he eventually realized that value investing is the way to go about. He's in my friend circle. This guy managed $500 million, and he wrote how he, from that Harvard glory, and came back. And he's a basically Swiss Israeli person. He stays in Switzerland. You can also Follow him on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. This guy talks about how the education of value investor has happened for him. On that note, I think I've taken much of your time, guys. Thanks a lot for being there. Sonia ji, do you like to end with the parting quote?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bhuvan. We are truly grateful to our speaker, Mr. Bhuvan Gupta, for sharing their expertise and insights. And through fabulous presentation and Q&A sessions. Thank you so much. Also, we will be thankful to our IPF, their planning and seamless execution, ensuring for the success of this event. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhuvan.